Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to A Horror in the Museum. So this is less of a horror game, and more of a tech demo. It's a new way of texturing objects, something to do with rendering the negative space. To be honest, the details went completely over my head, but if you're interested, the full description of the new system is in the developers page, which is linked in the description. As of yet, this is very early access. This is a 0.03 version of the game. If you're wondering why the video looks so odd, it's simply because it's in something that looks a bit like a 4x3 in portrait rather than a 16:9 landscape, which is making it a little bit difficult to record. But never mind, thank the stars for a second screen. So there's nothing to do yet, there's no objectives, there's no monsters, there's no anything. It's merely a matter of wandering around and looking at this very strange, and to me at least, otherwise unseen method of virtual world rendering, for want of a better term. This is very strange. This isn't like pixelation. This is done differently. Is that an owl with stag's wings behind it? This is very mysterious. So yes, this isn't a horror game precisely, but it's called Horror in the Museum, so what frankly did you expect me to do with it? This is very, very unusual. I don't know what that big, swirling, massive tentacles that we saw pass us by a couple of times is so far. I'd like to try and find that again, if I can. But this is very, very strange. It's very unsettling, because pixelated horror games have always had the advantage on their side that due to the pixelization, it can be very difficult to tell what anything is. This has a very similar effect, but obviously it is pixelated, but it's... see what I mean? It's more about the mysterious elements of it. Because your eyes adapt quite quickly to working out what things are. Particularly for me, because in this method of looking at things, you don't have any colours to work with as such. You work pretty much entirely through recognition of shapes. You see the darker outlines of things in order to identify what's what. Which for me is something I've had a little bit of practice in. This is very interesting. This is a style I've never seen in any other game. Are we looping around ourselves? Am I just going in a great big circuit? I feel that a lot of game developers would be very interested in seeing this, and interested in this new method of displaying a world and displaying different things. Because there's always the debate between, do you make something more realistic looking or less realistic looking in order to make it scarier? Which you can take the biggest AAA games, I don't know, Resident Evil 7 or whatever, with their amazingly up-to-date graphics, and they put together some sort of a monster, and it's very scary. And I stopped moving for a moment. And then you have other games that are not as visually adept, but still manage to be extremely scary. Proving that visuals, although I don't know, they're integral to how a horror game works, but at the same time they're not. You don't need 4K graphics to make something scary, as this game itself has proven. but at the same time, you also can benefit from them. I don't know, it's difficult to describe. Horror games have always been... Horror in general as a medium of entertainment is a very difficult thing to describe and a very difficult thing to define. Yes, I think we are just circling in a loop. So I don't know precisely what that thing is, but I can only assume that in later versions of this it will eventually develop into whatever the monster or the objective of this game will be, assuming that this will ever actually become a game and will not just remain a tech demo. But I would like to see where the developer takes this, and I would also like to see other people's interpretations of what the potential of this art style is, for want of a better term, and what potential they see in it, and what can be done with it, because I find this fascinating. Obviously, I wouldn't be playing it. That's very disturbing. Something else I like about this is they put in a little bit of sound design. There's a little humming and whirring that you possibly can't quite hear, being used to emulate wind going through the corridors. This is like crackling or cycling sound that I can't quite put my finger on, that seems to indicate the creature. It's fascinating. The reason that interests me so much, beyond anything else, is that so often tech demos don't bother with that kind of thing. They demonstrate the technology and that's it. They don't put any frills, anything special, anything exciting on it. They just do their thing, they demonstrate their piece of technology, and then they leave. But this I like. As he said, he put it together relatively simply, as you can tell from the designs, and obviously it's just a small circuit. And the models for the exhibits obviously aren't the most detailed or exciting thing in the history of the universe, but they don't need to be. They give just enough atmosphere and just enough reality to the situation to make it slightly unnerving and strange. But I like this. This is very interesting, and I can't wait to see where this is going in the future. But I think we've seen about all there is to see, and my neck is killing me. So, I can't even remember if I said that this was a double-hour shock of horror at the beginning of the video. Probably I did, probably I didn't. Either way, thank you very much. I'm doing the wrong outro. That's the end of the first game. Let's have a look at the second game, is what I'm trying to say and failing miserably to say. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Avarice. Oh. Apparently I'm an explorer. Sleep is a stranger to me. I wander the halls of this place as if in search of something unobtainable. Can you even hear that?
Sometimes I awake to find myself standing before it, with those amusing dark fascination that I can't explain yet. I'm unable to resist.
Okay, I put the volume up a little bit for you just in case that voiceover was a little bit quiet, but at least you've got the subtitles there to pick it up if it wasn't. Okay, so apparently I am an explorer. I don't know, I had some long name that I've already completely forgotten because I downloaded it in the middle of doing something else. So, I'm an explorer.
Only last year, the wife of renowned explorer Edward Armitage was lost at sea on the same ship. The couple were returning from a 12-week exploration of the Ashanti Kingdom of Africa. The exact circumstances of her tragic loss are still unknown, but she is thought to have fallen from the vessel during extreme weather conditions. Lord Armitage disappeared from public view and now lives the life of a recluse in the family estate. This latest disaster is a fresh blow to the White Star Line after...
I see. So I'm an explorer from the 1900s, I think, the early 1900s. So my wife has been lost at sea, and I have been living alone, presumably. And I think I've just come back from another expedition that's gone wrong, presumably that ship going down. Okay. So I don't know an awful lot about what's going to happen in this game. But it's very pretty. So we'll keep exploring, we'll keep looking. See if we can oh yes, I do remember something about this game. It's a psychological horror game. So hopefully there'll be some stuff to screw with my mind at some point. Who's that? Zoom, there we are. Is that me? Is that possible? Well, it probably isn't me. This is probably my study, actually. Ah, interesting. We can see what they thought the world looked like. It's pretty accurate. Slightly distorted. The aspect ratio is slightly wrong, but... Right, ooh. I can open boxes. Okay, can I open drawers and things? No, I don't think so. Okay. I just don't know how long this game is, so this may be cut up into a number of different parts. Like a nice steak or something. That was a terrible joke. Then all my jokes are terrible. Okay, this reminds me a little bit of Layers of Fear. If you... Oh, is that big doggy? Actually, considering how small that child is, probably not a very big doggy, actually. I've just realised what I'm looking at, and I shouldn't be looking at that on YouTube. Oh, dear. Oh, dear, me and my blind badgers. Oh, the statue of Gensha, India. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. The Hydra of Greece. Funny, I didn't think the Hydra had that many heads. From Egypt. I see, so... Again, like with the how to make a cup of tea video, we're going on with the very British circumstance of going around to other people's countries and stealing all of their things and taking them for our own. I see. Some shoes. Okay, these are extremely modern shoes. I'm pretty sure those weren't around in the 1900s. Okay, so it would appear we're taking a PT vibe to this. Or with the whole repeating corridor. Alright, I'm not that ugly. Okay, maybe I am. I don't know. Dental hygiene is not what it used to be in the 1900s. Or something. Where's that noise coming from? I can't quite pinpoint which door it's coming from. See, so it's very PT. Repeating looped hallway. Well, I can't see anything's changed so far, apart from this door is now locked. So I thought... What's this? A bottle of whiskey? Oh, wine, my mistake. I seem to have some standards, it would seem. Can I read any of these books? Oh, I can't even get in this gap, I'm too fat. Must be a very well-off explorer. Something I need to interact with, presumably. What does that say? Not sure. It's giving me a crook in the neck looking at it, so we're going to give up on that procedure. Oh. Okay. Headline is what it said. 1912. Okay, so that's presumably the year, or not far from the year that we're currently in. Accident at sea.
Since I lost my enemy to the darkness of that heartless sea. Your face haunts me in my dreams, and my waking hours bring me with respite from your absence. Sometimes I fancy I hear a voice in the dead of night calling to me. The cool trick of the wind, and of my continued isolation in this place.
So I'm clearly in a great degree of grief over the loss of Emily. Let's not look at the painting of not being allowed to show that sort of thing on YouTube. So I have many newspapers. I don't know why I'd have so many newspapers of such a tragic event within my home. Oh, is this the very beginning? No. Yes, this is the beginning, because this is where that mask was that was there at the start that disappeared. Okay, we should return to the stairway. So it definitely is the same location as these shoes are still here. Interesting. I'll try to resist the temptation to go off on a gripe about what I think of the PT format. Oh, hello. I see you wish to be left alone.
I used to think that perhaps it was a ghost. Well, I wish it was so, but I know now the truth. It is something far more sinister, something I brought upon myself, upon both of us, and from which there can be no escape. I feel it reaching for me out of the darkness. I fear that one day it will take me someplace from which I may never return.
Like a Tutankhamun's curse? Have I plundered one too many chambers for riches and gold? That's a very nice painting and a very nice ceiling. Oh dear, somebody's made a right mess here. Dear, I should really put these back. I should really put these back where they belong. Okay, evidently there's a slight problem there with the texturing, but never mind. There we are, that's much better. I'll just put these back up where they belong. Just put that there, perfect. Just put this up here. Mr. Oh, is that actually what I was supposed to do? Did that open the door? Was the door locked otherwise? I just did that because I like the place being tidy. Oh, the lights have gone out. Oh, it's only a coat. It's just a coat, Phil. Calm down. It's not the end of the universe. It's just a coat. You own about 15 million of the accursed things. Hang on, was that there before? Oh, it's a shoe. Why, so interesting device. Alright, calm down. I was just getting impressed by the efficient method of storing shoes. I'll stop being so boring and I'll get on with the game. I'll try to stop being quite so James May and get on with this. Is there a sprint button? Not like it's... No, it's a pull door. You need to pull it. You're pushing. Okay, I can't seem to help them in their quest to get through the door. They're free. I see. So we are definitely repeating the same bit of architecture. It's not just that I have very repetitive interior design skills. I'm a bit incapable of walking through doorways though. Okay, as much as I am tempted to open every door just in case there's ever a secret hidden behind one. At the same time, I'm conscious of time and conscious of not boring you to drink with the constant clicking of locks. So let's keep moving. So he thought this being was her ghost, but believes now it's something worse. This is a very small bed. Must have been very thin people if you both slept in this bed. Ah, Oh, a key. Come on, you're better than that. Do better than that kind of a jump scare. Okay, so the key doesn't go to the door. It must go to one of these cabinets. A drawer, perhaps? There's a lock on it. Yes, here we are. Oh, is this Emily?
Theirs was an uncommon beauty. Our love was the truest of any love that has ever been or ever will be. Of all my adventures, none who brought me riches and fortune that could compare to the peace and joy I found by her side. I could not see her.
Oh, sorry, I'll just pay a tiny bit more respect and just, you know... There we go. Madam, could you please just... There, that'll do nicely. Oh, dear. Yeah, somehow... It often doesn't matter how hard the heart wants something. If fate doesn't fancy your chances, you don't stand all these. Okay, I will go through that door in a moment, I promise. I'm just curious to see if... Nah. I was just curious if there might be any other paths. They would hope you would be lured in. In reality, that was the naughty way to go. But no, it seems like this is the correct pathway. Okay, I don't have a flashlight or anything, do I? Or a lantern. Okay, this is... Did you hear something? Like a sobbing. Moving the mouse and I'm... Is this Emily's experience? When she drowned at sea? My reticule has come back. Okay, that's not very fun. This is a very interesting experience. I've never seen a game using a mechanic like that, Rip. It blinds you. I mean, I was trying to follow the noises with the surround sound to lead me. This is getting a little Lovecraftian, which is something I always approve of. I think I think I'm coached to the metro. I need to lie down. Alright. This is quite disturbing. But I'm better than that. I'm gonna get scared of a few door handles. I'm better than that. Was that a gun? It sounded an awful lot like a gun. Okay, so are the Kraken scales still here? No. That's extremely familiar. Okay, for copyright reasons I cut that out just in case, as much as that's probably a recording from possibly as many as 100 years ago by now. I did cut that out just in case there's copyright on it, and I don't want to get myself in trouble for that. I'm not quite sure what that's about. I did seem to catch the name of the game in it, Avarice, which may be a place, I believe. That'll lull me into a false sense of security, are you?
Let the cleansing fire eradicate the darkness. I long for its tentacles to retreat from my heart, so that I may see again and remember her face and the love we share.
There are tentacles in you. Well, I see, that reminds me of... Oh, what was it called? Albedo, whatever it was called. That had something similar. Okay, so I must rid it of the curse. I'm guessing it's one of these statues that possibly they brought with them a curse. Perhaps I should burn them to free the creature, the curse, the demon, whatever it is. I may be completely wrong about this. I mean, the fact that these aren't really fitting in the fireplace, I'm beginning to think that I am. Yes, I may be completely wrong about this. Mind you, this looks like the one that would actually have the best chance of fitting in. Oh! No, it was the mask.
She's consumed in flames. Then, as I watch it burn, I see her face in its place, screaming for help. Help that I know did not come then and cannot come now.
How very strange. So it's the mask then. The mask must be cursed to harm the family of whoever takes it from wherever it came from. Very strange. So it is much like the Tutankhamun curse. Okay, that's the original radio broadcast that's been distorted. This is very strange. So I burned the mask, but has that freed the demon or just made it angry? Because it doesn't exactly seem like it's just trotting off on its merry way. Oh. Interesting. There's no plaque saying where it came from or when, but it does remind me of certain tribal masks. I just can't quite place where it's from. My knowledge of that part of civilization is not as girthy as it could be. The whispering's getting louder. Oh. Would to explore a new part of the house? Hello. Goodbye.
I see her eyes. I hold her gaze. Her lips move, but I hear only the sound of darkness and the waves that carry us through the black night. Only a moment earlier she was begging me to cast the mask into the sea. I deny her, and push her from me with such force and mad rage that she is sent backwards and over the railing of the ship, clutching on with slipping hands. I hear her cries now, pleas for help. Edward, help me, please. And I watch as she slips into the darkness, and I do nothing.
I see.
All is lost.
I see. So it's one of these cursed objects that produces an irrational obsession in the person who takes it. She was afraid of the mask. Okay, that was Avarice. Avarice. I'm not quite sure how it's pronounced. That was very interesting. I'm sorry I had to cut the credits out. I do usually like to display the credits as much as possible. However, again, that same piece of music was there, and unfortunately, I'm not in a position to risk the copyright problems that it may ensue. But obviously, as ever, the developers' pages in the description, their names should all be there. That was very interesting. That took quite a classic story of the story of an explorer and a conquest of ancient treasures, and how these curses can be passed on. A relatively classic story, but executed quite well. I especially like the sequence in the cellar, in the basement, when you went down the stairs and experienced the audio of her drowning. That was a fantastic piece. I feel at the end, if the very last sequence when he was describing what had happened, if something similar had been done there, possibly with or without visuals, if you'd been able to see the ship and see the two of them together, admiring the mask and her dissatisfaction with it, and then his reaction and her falling into the ocean. I feel if that possibly could have told the story a little bit better, so that you experience it rather than just hear it. But overall, this was a very impressive telling of the game. I very much enjoyed it. I really like this one a lot. So that's another double barrel shotgun of horror. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. Look after each other, and I am also still slightly convinced, I don't know if you can quite pick this up on the recording, but it looks like there's a pair of eyes here. But either way, thank you very much for joining me this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Look after each other, and good night.